Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to give some tips for leveling a character more quickly. You may not be a racer, you may not be one of the top of the ladder, but sometimes you just want to level up a character quickly so you can try out a new build in the end game. You don't want to be waffling around in the act, spending an hour, sometimes even more per act, and wasting away your time trying to level up your character and getting it to the end game. And these are going to be some tips to help you. We're going to start off very simple. The first tip out of 5 is movement speed is king. So as soon as you're able to get to town, you can talk to Tarly. You can type in movement here, go find the boots and see if there are any boots that have movement speed. They start dropping immediately, so you can pick them up as soon as you get to town. And I would also identify any boots that you get until you have movement speed boots, because it's very, very important. Then go and do the Tidal Island quest. That will give you an option to choose a Quicksilver flask. You want at least one Quicksilver flask when you're leveling your character, unless you're entirely relying on a movement skill like Leap Slam, which even then, until you get enough attack speed, you're not going to be able to move around as quickly as you'd like. So you're still going to want Quicksilver flasks. I like to run 2 when I'm leveling personally. You can definitely get those very easily. Next, Onslaught. Onslaught gives you a nice little buff that gives you increased movement speed along with increased attack speed as well. Onslaught is great for movement speed, and the way I like to personally do it is I like to link it to Frost Bomb and just leave Frost Bombs behind in big packs. It'll usually kill most, if not the entire pack, all the way up to about the third. You can also put it in a +1 cold skills wand if you'd like, or something along those lines, and that will allow you to more efficiently destroy packs. Not only do you not have to stop and kill everything, but you get to get that onslaught buff for 8 seconds, move much more quickly to the next pack, coupled with your movement speed boots and your Quicksilver, and just keep going, just keep shooting through. So movement speed is very important. Another way you can trigger Onslaught is put it on Herald of Lightning or Herald of Ice, for instance, and the effect, it will increase, of course, the amount of mana that it reserves by 10%. So about 2.5% more, bringing it up to 27.5%. That's not that big of a deal on that small of a number, and it really does give you a very large boost. So if you're playing a melee build, maybe you're playing something that is a melee build, but you want the little extra damage from Herald of Ice or something, you can go ahead and link Onslaught to that, and all of your shatters that kill nearby enemies might trigger Onslaught for you. So great way to get that extra movement speed. Movement speed is king. Another one of note for movement is to make sure you're linking your movement skills. In this case, I'm using faster casting with Flame Dash, makes it so it goes off a little bit quicker. You want faster attacks with things like Shield Charge and Leap Slam. You can do a little bit of research, figure out what the best links for your movement skill are. You can definitely find those online. They're all a little bit different. Some of them are relatively the same, but they're all a little bit different, so keep that in mind as well. My next tip is use single target skills for bosses, uniques, and sometimes the tankier yellow monsters, the rare monsters. And one of my examples for this is Ethereal Knives. If you want to play an Ethereal Knives character, that's great. Just got buff damage. It's a little bit better now. Good for clearing packs. However, its damage is not very high on bosses for single target. And for that, you might want something like a Blade Vortex instead. Honestly, there's a lot of different skills that don't provide the best single target damage. Another good example would be maybe Ice Nova here. Ice Nova does a good amount of area damage, not the greatest at killing bosses. Now, if you're scaling damage through that and getting cast speed and spell damage, you might want a supplemental damage dealer. I know Holy Flame Totem recently got a buff. It can be used as a supplemental damage, kind of a passive damage for a spellcaster, especially if you have the strength requirement, like you're a Templar or you're a Witch and you travel through the Templar tree to get some pieces there. You're able to use Holy Flame Totem. That'll definitely, if you link that up, be able to increase your single target damage while you use one of your other spells for clearing mostly. As a trapper, you can use a flamethrower trap. So let's go ahead and find that. Flamethrower trap becomes available later on in the game, but it is really good at melting down bosses, so I would recommend trying that if you're going to do it. And it lasts 4 seconds, so you can toss a couple of these down, they'll start going on the boss, and then you can start using your more standard trap, whether that be ice trap or fire trap. In the beginning, you can also use explosive trap on many builds as a single target damage dealer. A lot of builds like to do this if they are using, for instance, a spark, or if they're using something along the lines of, let's see, what's another good example here? A frost bolt or a lightning tendrils. Freezing pulse is a big one. A lot of them will take explosive trap in order to do extra damage there. So having a good single target to deal with bosses is a great way to level faster. My third tip is to, whoa, I must have had a, all right, looks like I had a prophecy here. My third tip is to learn zone layouts. Zone layouts are very important. Some of them are going to take a long time to learn and they shuffle around, but some zones are very consistent in that they have an indicator to show you the way. For instance, here in the Chamber of Sins, the direction the waypoint is pointing will always contain the way down to the next zone. So we'll go this way, and from there it will always bring you down to Chamber of Sins level 2. Since we're here in Act 2, there's another good example there. In the Western Forest, you can find spider webs down here, and those will always lead towards Weaver on that side. And you can also follow the road as such, and you will eventually find a break in the road here with a torch. You can follow that up, and you will always, at the end of that, find Lyra's camp. So things like that to look out for. There are different things you want to look for specifically in maps, and once you've learned them, I could do an entire video just on this subject. It would be very long probably, so I don't think I'll do that. But you can do that, and you learn the maps, and you'll level faster. So learn zone layout. Another big tip I have is do not over level. Now, you don't need to kill every single thing you see. Just kill enough packs to keep your charges on your quicksilvers up, and enough to make sure that you're keeping your onslaught going, and pretty much move on from everything else. So we get our onslaught going, we get our packs. I do like to kill blue packs, however, because they give 4 times as much experience as normal mobs, so I will stop to do that. Rares give 7 times as much experience, the yellow monsters, but they are going to be a little bit tankier and surrounded by normal monsters generally, so they won't give you as much value as a decent sized blue pack in the end. And my last tip is going to be very much in the same vein as the last one. Don't pick up everything. I would say you don't need most of the items. You don't need to identify every little thing. You can easily trade transmutes and scraps for wisdom scrolls, so you don't need to pick up every wisdom scroll. You do want a certain amount, especially in the beginning, as they are quite valuable, but you simply don't need to pick up every single thing that you see on the ground. It's just not going to be that valuable. I would highly recommend getting a good loot filter. I use NeverSync's loot filter. It's very, very reliable. Many people use it, and it will let you know with a sound and an image on the mini-map, if you keep that up, whether a unique or something valuable has dropped. So you'll get to see that. What I like to do personally is level with the regular loot filter. I'll just bring that up. I like to use the regular loot filter up through about Act 5 or 6, then I switch to semi-strict, and then I switch to strict for endgame mapping. And that's my personal preference. However, you can kind of pick and choose. There are a lot of loot filters out there. Some of them have fun sounds, so I would Google Path of Exile loot filters and see if you can find one that you like. I hope you enjoyed this video. It is a couple of tips that I think will help you with leveling your character a little bit faster. Let me know if I missed something important. I'm sure I didn't get to everything. There's a lot you can do to really min-max your time spent leveling a character and really get going, but let me know your tip in the description below. I'll always read those and I'll usually respond, so I hope you enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!